Hello, thank you everyone. Welcome to another session of ADCU live Facebook. Today we got our chair Hardy. We also got a special guest which I'll introduce shortly. So I'll just so far we got 30 people already online. So if you're watching, could you just post a comment so we know who's watching from where? And also, if you could kindly share this in your network, whether it's on WhatsApp or any Facebook groups. Yeah. Sami, Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, it is a Bollywood movie, so stay tuned because we got a special guest today, a good friend and a brother. But Hardy, I'll let you just kick start quickly. So we got 64 people now watching. Arman, Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I haven't had time to call you, and inshallah I'll call you. But just to check, could everyone hear okay? And okay, Hadi, fire away. I'll let you take over, Hadi, quickly.
Hi, everybody. This is Hadi, the London chair for ADCU. The topic which I want to pick up is I've been getting uh, quite a lot of phone calls, people who have been recently been um, uh, deactivated from the Uber platform. And these are the people who haven't actually worked for more than 3 months, and these people have been shielding, or probably they're shielding on behalf of someone in their household and they could not come to work, or probably couldn't come to work for obvious reasons. There's not much on the market at the moment. I mean, the drivers who are actively working will tell you that it's a struggle. Probably in a day you would earn £30, and some of these drivers might have not come out to work because they don't own the cars, they've rented it, so it's not cost effective at the moment to be, around there when you're going to earn only £30 a day. So what happened is these people are panicking. I mean, you don't need to panic at the moment because Uber hasn't sacked these people, so they've just basically closed the account, and they've closed your account for obvious reasons because Uber wants to minimize their liability in a sense, because so that if anyone who has not worked for the last 12 weeks, so they cannot put a claim, and if you put a claim, your claim is void. So the union have been pushing very hard and trying to get these people active, but and also trying to make sure that these people don't lose out. I called lead day who have been rubbish towards this. They said basically, listen, if a driver hasn't done a trip in the last 12 weeks, they have no claim. So I said, I mean, these people have been actually shielding, and there was a problem. And the answer was that even if you've been shielding and you knew that you are not going to work, you should have actually put a claim. I tried to push towards that, but I didn't get it anyway. So it's basically these people, we're not going to take them on. They don't have any claim. And there's nothing we can do because there's a loophole in the system. And I mean, in the law, and Uber actually managed to pick that loophole. And this basically, of it, these drivers don't have a claim. And I also actually called Kalalenkna. Kalalenkna said to me, these people don't have a claim, but what we could do is we could try. Kalalenkna said, I mean, they were more specific. They said, drivers are actually putting two claims. One of them is the holiday pay, and the other one is the minimum wage. With the holiday pay, it's too late. We could try for them, but the minimum wage, there's no time limit. You could actually file that at any time. So there's no actually 12 weeks cap where the holiday pay, there's only 12-week cap. So if you didn't put your claim within 12 weeks, you've lost it out. But they said they will try, but they cannot promise anything. Regarding the minimum wage, you've got claim there. So I urge all the drivers who haven't been working and who have been shielding for the last 12 weeks, please put your claim. And I'm not here to promote Kalalenkna, but I'm just stating the fact. I've called both the farms, and this is what they said to me. I mean, there are other farms out there, but I cannot trust them because I mean, I don't know their strategy, and I don't know what kind of farms and how they work, and whether they're actually going to do anything, or they're just basically picking up picking up the fowls and putting them on the draw. And once drivers starting getting paid, in for them to just bring these fowls up. And if you have been deactivated, relax. you will be put back on. You haven't been sacked for now.
Yeah.
Yasin,
I
do you
mean,
want to add
I
anything?
mean that's fine. So like I'm glad you covered that point. So people, it's your choice. There is a law firm out there that is willing to challenge this, and that's Keller. So we already get, but it's entirely your choice whether you want to claim something or whether you want to leave it on the table and walk away and just get reactivated. So either way, the choice is yours. Lee Day ain't doing it, and we're getting a lot of drivers calling us because Lee Day is not able to assist them. But I don't want to take, because we've got a special guy today, all the way from USA, over the pond. So I just want to introduce him and quickly, you know, just welcome him, and we'll go more into detail just towards the end on the Uber campaign. But anyway, our special guest today is Chris Small from New York City, and this guy been making international headlines in taking on Amazon. So he done what we done to Uber here, and our welcome brother Chris.
Absolutely.
Thank you for
Hi,
joining
Chris.
us today.
Hey, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
So, Chris, you want to quickly tell us, like, who are you? Like, I mean, introduce yourself. Like, what do you do? Like, in terms of organizing workers, like your background, like, how did you start organizing? What your job role was?
Yeah,
Bear in mind, you got Uber drivers watching you today.
yeah. Well, we all in the same boat, so we all essential workers, and I respect Uber drivers for what they've been doing and during the pandemic. So, yes, I was a former Amazon employee. I started off um, 2015. Been with the company for 4.5 years. Got promoted up to a supervisor, a process assistant. Was that for about 4 years. I opened up 3 major buildings in the tri-state area here in the States. New Jersey, Connecticut, and New York was my last building. Last year, when the virus transitioned into our country, as a worker at Amazon in the warehouse, I knew that my employees in my department and my whole facility were unprotected. So I started to raise health and safety concerns about that. Um, Going through the proper channels, going to the HR saying, hey, look, we're dealing with this virus. Um, what are we doing to protect ourselves? There's no PPE here. There's no facial mask. There's no cleaning supplies. There's no safety guidelines or enforcement. And we have about 5,000 people that go to my building. And their answer was, well, if you don't feel safe, you can stay home with no pay. You won't be penalized, but who can survive with making no rent money? So that didn't make any sense to me. And as a supervisor, a person in leadership, how can I go home and sleep comfortably knowing that the workers that I work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, who I consider my extended family, going to continue to go to work and possibly contract this deadly virus? So I decided to take a stance, started sending out emails to the health department, to the governor's office, to the mayor's office. And that didn't work because New York became the epicenter and everywhere was overwhelmed. People were dying over here every 15 minutes. The hospitals were backed up capacity. Nurses and doctors were struggling to keep up to par. They're going through their own issues. So nobody was worried about little old me complaining about Amazon at the time. So I had to go back to work. And when I did, I was told in my manager's meeting with my bosses that there was a positive case in the building already, and they didn't want me to tell any of my employees. And that's what I was like, what's going on here? We need to close this building down. There's thousands of people in this building, 5,000 to be exact, that come to this building from all 5 boroughs and New Jersey as well. What are we doing? And for them to say, we don't want to cause a panic and business as usual, that right there was my last time working for Amazon. From that moment forward, I left the building, came back the rest of the week, started organizing workers in the break room off the clock on my own free will, telling them the truth that they possibly been exposed already and we need to have this building closed. So we all marched into the general manager's office every morning for a week straight, advocating these concerns to have the building closed for at least 14 days, provide the PPE that we need, the facial masks, the cleaning supplies, and also provide medical pay for those who want to stay home. provide some type of paid leave where people can stay home and be safe with their families, especially those with underlying health conditions. At the end of that week, they decided to quarantine just me and nobody else. So I knew right then and there that they were using that quarantine policy that didn't exist, by the way, to silence me, to stop me from organizing workers. It was nobody else in my department. It was nobody else in the office that I've been around. It was not even the person that I ride to work with every single day. So that told me right there that it was just a silencing tactic. So I decided to take further action and hold a protest actually coming up. Anniversary is coming up March 30th last year. And after that protest, 2 hours later, I was fired over the phone by the company. A week later, Jeff Bezos himself, the richest man in the world, decided to have a meeting about me, a smear campaign, they call it, to call me not smart or articulate, make me the face of the whole union efforts, ironically, against Amazon. And they rather focus their media attention on discrediting me than to answer questions about their own health and safety concerns for their workers. And that right there motivated me to found my organization. And we've been traveling the country throughout the course of the pandemic, going to every Jeff Bezos mansion over here in the States that we can find on Google at least, and protest in front of his house every chance we could. And we're continuing to do that even 1 year later. We're still out here fighting.
Okay, I mean that's amazing. It's an amazing achievement, but it's what you just said. It sort of reminds me of some of the struggle that I face, and so many other drivers, especially in this case versus Uber.
Oh,
and
yeah.
even like me, when I went into Uber's office, they used to laugh at us, like, "What are you going to do?" But guess what? 6 years later, we actually won against them at Supreme Court.
That's right.
We were able to win. But my question to you is, you took a claim against them. Is that like, did you do it for yourself or what is it? Like, I mean, we had a claim here. It's called Aslam versus Uber. So I was one of the claimants and alongside 25 other people in this claim.
So,
and I just want to ask you the same question. Like, was it about yourself or was it about the workers? Like, what does that claim mean? What was it? Like, did you open the door for other people or what's happening?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was never about just myself. Even though I was the one that was the sacrificial lamb and got fired, the type of lawsuit I filed is a class action lawsuit. So that represents the class of people. And that's everybody that works for Amazon. So there's 800,000 of us nationwide and actually 1.5 million of us worldwide. Everybody that was affected here in the States, at least, by this virus should be a part of that class. So if it's upheld, which I have a very good lawyer, everybody that was affected will be able to file a class action lawsuit with Amazon and receive some type of financial relief about last year, you know, whether they stayed home, whether they were fired. That's what we're hoping to do. So it's David versus Goliath, and we're all David. And that's
I agree with you. So the main thing, like for us guys, like when we're organizing drivers, and a lot of them come from BME communities. So have you got the same kind of workers there? Like what kind of background? Like are they from deprived communities, the people that work with, or the people you organize? Who are these workers? Like who are the like?
Yeah, these workers they're part of my community. You know, they come from where I come from, which is, you know, predominantly Black and brown, indigenous communities. You know, working class, poor, lower class, you know, even whites, just whites, poor whites, that's a part of this as well. But that's a part of they're all a part of our communities. All the entry level workers, you know, majority of these people are coming from the same type of background I came from. You know, we have families at home. We're struggling to make ends meet because you think that we get paid decent enough to have a decent living wage. We don't. A lot of us even have multiple jobs, even myself. A lot of them are Uber drivers. They leave Amazon and they go in the parking lot and turn on their app and they start driving. You know, so that tells you right there, we're struggling just as anybody else, even working for the richest company or the richest man in the world.
Yeah, I mean it's the same. We got one driver watching today, Sharu Rajput. He's also an Amazon driver. I think we got quite a few drivers because of the pandemic that stopped driving because they didn't want to pick up passengers. They rather be, doing Amazon Flex or some kind of delivery, whether it's Deliveroo or Uber Eats. Now, we as a union, we represent private hire drivers like Uber drivers, and we also represent the couriers. So recently we started focusing on the Deliveroo's and Amazon, like how we could organize these workers. Yeah. Now, my question to you would be is, like, especially like you, on one side you got Amazon or Uber, like you got these big giants with money. Yeah. And then at the same time, on the other side, you got precarious workers from BME background that don't have the skill and the resources. How do you organize them? What's the best way so we could get these guys and fight for what's right?
Well, here in the States is a little bit difficult. we don't have that type of government structure that protects any of these laws that we need to have, like you guys have over there. That's the biggest problem, So how we organize now, we have to hold our elected officials accountable, which we've been doing. We've been applying pressure. As you've seen or may have heard, Joe Biden, the president, finally endorsed, for the first time in decades, endorsed the unionizing that's taking place down here in Alabama right now. So we changing the course of what unionizing efforts look like in here, over here. And that's what our job is as organizers and activists, is to continue to apply that pressure. So we continue to do these demonstrations and invite workers to come tell their stories at these demonstrations. Let the media and the public get behind them. And as you've seen or heard, once again, the scrutiny and the controversy that's surrounding Amazon right now is very negative. And it's all because of our efforts, because we're making it known that these issues exist in these warehouses and these workplaces. And the public needs to know so they can decide whether they want to continue to support this company. And now it's starting to turn the tide a little bit. You've seen, how we've been protesting nonstop. It's starting to actually take effect. The media is starting to talk about labor, which they haven't done in so long. So now they're starting to talk about these issues, and putting that out there is helping our organizing hand in hand.
So, guys, for everyone watching, feel free to post any question for Chris. Chris is Amazon organizer, and he done an amazing job in organizing. He put himself forward. He basically put his neck on the line there. So any questions, just put them across, and I'm happy to ask him. Yeah. But Chris, like, what's the biggest area? So you're from New York, yeah? Give us a background. Like, is Satan?
I'm from New Jersey. I live in New York. I mean, I worked in New York, though.
New York, yeah. New York, yeah. I think we've got one comment here so far. I won't. I'm sure you can see it on the screen. Boycott Amazon. So we got the same kind of trend here. But my question to you would be: is what kind of support did you get from unions, for example? Like there's Teamsters and SEIU. We hear about all these big unions. Or like how was it, like, your issue? Like, I found it hard as a BME worker to organize within the trade union. Like, there's a lot of discrimination, racism issue.
Yeah.
And it's just funny, like when we have these BLM protests, everyone's out there, but behind closed doors you got an issue of racism that people don't want to address. And we see this within certain, like, I actually personally got sued for breach of contract and passing off with the last union I was at. And this is like, and that's like, the point is, how do you, like, the worker is already, like, there's a lot of challenges, like you're trying to fight Uber, you're in a precarious position, you got your family, you're not making a lot of money, you're already struggling, and you want to do what's right, and that's to go and fight for a cause. And next minute you're being stabbed in the back by a scab union, which is suing you using their members' money to sue you where you were a volunteer. Like, how, like, have you ever had any kind of experience similar to that, or like?
No, I mean, the fact that, once again, here in the States, what unions are there to sue us? There's less than 6% of this country is unionized. There is none. Besides the major, like you said, the big trade unions, and the big name unions like Teamsters. They've been pretty supportive of our actions. They would they're trying to obviously pretty much galvanize themselves as well. Once again, they're diminished here in the country. The working class and essential workers in this country are not unionized, and it wouldn't look in their best interest to go against the workers that's trying to unionize. So I haven't had any of those issues yet, and I hope not to. And as of now, as far as union support, they've been supportive in an indirect way. I would love for them to get more involved because that's what I need. I need that type of morale, and we need those type of resources. And we're getting there. We're getting to that point, and it's a little difficult because with Amazon, you can't just have one union represent all the workers, all 800,000. You have to have a union for pretty much each building, and there's over 200, 300 buildings in each state, in each city and state over here, and you have to have your own different unions. So that's the difficulty as well. Which union is going to represent the workers best in there, depending on what part of the country where they live, where the cost of living can fluctuate. So here in New York, I can tell you the unions definitely are supportive. This is a union town, a union city, so to speak. It's just the fact that they haven't had a successful attempt when trying to unionize Amazon. Nobody's had in 26 years here in the States because it's not been done. So what we're seeing now in Alabama is historical because it will be the first time in U.S. history. And we're hoping from that result, if they're successful, that will galvanize unions to say, hey, look, we need to go to these Amazon facilities right away and start talking to these workers and getting that ball rolling. So that's what I'm doing here in New York. I'm talking to different unions. I'm talking to the workers of Amazon still. And we're trying to decide, the workers are trying to decide which way they would want to go, because ultimately that's their decision, whether they want to make a union for themselves or they want to have a union support them and take on Amazon completely.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, brother. So if we got like the similar stuff. So like here in the UK, we got the same problem with Amazon. So GMB is a big, massive union, and they're doing a great job in organizing the Amazon in the warehouse, which is similar to where you have like the warehouse facility. So I think they have been doing some kind of big campaigns around it, but a lot more needs to be done. But what we believe in at ADCU is empowering the workers. They should be leading these movements, and they should be the one running the show more or less, or organizing the drivers. And that's what we're doing. So if you look at ADCU, we have leaders in each and every city. So we have, like in Nottingham, we have Azim Hanif, yeah, a great leader. In Birmingham City, we have another leader, and they're all drivers. And it's like recently we started organizing in like Sheffield, where we need to elect a representative in Manchester, but it's going to be a driver, like someone who's actually from the trade and understands the trade and the issue. Yeah. So, I mean, thank you for coming on today. I'm so grateful. It's good to have a fellow brother fighting a similar fight, but a different fight with the same cause and the same intent. And we guys respect you, and we're with you in solidarity. And do reach out if you ever need us. But before you go, I mean, it's up to you if you want to stay. But I know you're in a rush. But if you want to just quickly talk about, like the message to the drivers watching you today, and I'll put you on the screen if you can, just a minute, 2 minutes, just like, because what we need is a lot of people are scared to come forward, and we get drivers. I mean, don't get me wrong, since we won against Uber, we are getting a high volume of drivers joining us and coming to us. And we want to help these guys, and we want to do what we can. So it's not just about fighting Uber. We also have a licensing regime. So, for example, when you look at New York Taxi Workers Alliance here, they help drivers with TLC, they call it Taxi Limousine Commission. So we have something similar here. And people need help with, like day-to-day issues. But the whole idea of like everyone thinks nothing ever going to happen to them, and they rather stay in the background and let other people fight.
Right.
But the more people we have, the more powerful we become. And like you said, is if we could get people out lobbying politicians, we have the people power. And how do we, if you could just give us a nice message to the drivers listening to you, I would really appreciate.
Oh yeah. I just want to say to the drivers, this is imperative. This is important, especially during these unprecedented times. The whole world is dealing with the pandemic, and it gave us all as workers and essential workers the window of opportunity to create this change in society. Whether you're here in the States or whether you're overseas, doesn't matter where you at. Right now is the perfect opportunity for all of us as essential workers to fight back. And I can tell you, we've been on the picket lines with plenty of gig workers, nurses, doctors, bus drivers, train operators, Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, and we're all in the same fight. Different companies, but same fight. And we got to understand that the 1% class, the billionaires, the CEOs of these companies, they don't give a damn about us. They don't give a damn whether we live or die. They don't give a damn whether our family live or die. And if you think that these 1% billionaires are going to take care of us, you're sadly mistaken. We have to take care of one another, and we have to fight inwards and create our own community, our union or workplace committee that represents the people. So once again, I encourage you guys to join ADCU. If you're an Uber driver that's scared, don't be afraid, because it's strength in numbers, and the power of the people is more of us than it is them. Once again, we represent our class, the working class, the struggling class, and there's millions of us worldwide. And it's only the 1% class, which is less than, think about it, less than about 1,500 people, billionaires worldwide, that has more wealth to take care of all the poverty and all the struggles that we're going through in today's society. So we just have to stick together, stay resilient. Don't be afraid right now. COVID-19 has given us this window of opportunity to fight back against the higher ups and the power that we are facing. And there's nothing like people's power. 1 year ago, I was fired, and I never would have imagined that I'll be once again fighting a year later all over the world, pretty much, and circulating that type of power. So I stand with you guys in solidarity. And thank you for having me. Appreciate
No
it.
worries. Thank you,
Thank you
Chris.
very much, Chris. That was a
You're
very
welcome.
powerful message. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. I really
I'll be back.
appreciate it. It'll be good to have you again sometime when you're free. I know you're a busy man and you've got a lot to do, a lot on your plate, but it'd be good. It'd be good to have you back again at some time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll be
But
back.
Hardy, have you got any questions, or Hardy, before we let Chris go?
I mean, I listened to Chris. It's the same struggle that we went through. You remember, Yasin, since 2014 when we met up at the at that church where we rented the hall. So, and listening to Chris struggle, it just reflected back in my mind when we started the whole thing in 2014. And Chris, put your foot down. Make sure you're not hijacked by the wrong people, because we have to. Yasin will, must have told you we went through a bumpy ride through the way until we started our own union, ADCU. So just make sure don't make the same mistake where we did this, and here we ended up having hijacked by bogus unions and so on. Make
Yeah.
sure you stay focused and stay with the right union, and probably you guys should form your own union. And saying that you need a union from a different place, I mean, I don't know your territory. You know your territory much better than me. One union, if they're together, could do everything.
Right. That's right.
That's why I believe so.
But anyway, thank you. So, Hardy, we still got a lot of questions still coming up about this compensation. Yeah. So, and I just want to say again, Uber has not offered no compensation. What they agreed is register your interest. So what you do is you go onto that Google form they sent you and register. But the main message to you guys is Uber has all your data. They know how many trips you've done. They know how long you've been logged on the app. They know how much mileage you've done. And they don't really need that. If they really wanted to pay you out, all they have to do is listen, Mr. Driver so-and-so, on this day, we're going to make a payment to you for this amount. They could just calculate all that automatically and give it to you. So it's your choice, but there's no harm in filling that in because you haven't done anything. All you've done is registered your interest, and they will tell you if you're eligible or not. And then later on, they'll give you an amount or whenever. Nobody knows. There is no amount said. But if you want the maximum possible, then you need to seek legal advice. There are like different type of law firms. So we have some law firm that go on a tribunal level, which will only be able to backdate your claim for 2 years. And then we have some law firm, actually there's only one law firm out there that actually going into high court to try and backdate your claim for 6 years. So if you've been a driver for 1 year, for example, it's pointless you using a law firm that's going to backdate it 6 years because you don't qualify for 6 years. So it's the math is all simple, yeah. So like that's your choice as an individual. But right now, a lot of people are calling us and asking us that are they committing to anything? No, you are not. But anyway, as we see, we got James Farah here. He's the general secretary for ADCU, and he also runs the project for Workers Info Exchange. So, just like for all the drivers watching today, you should have got an email from Workers Info Exchange regarding the data requests. But if you're still unsure, yeah, just reach out to James. Yeah. But anyway, Chris, before you go, how could we help you? Like from here at London, like what could we do to support you?
You said it, man. You guys standing in solidarity with us. Anytime you see anything that we share online or something that needs to be shared to the world, just post it up for us. I've always received videos and clips from you guys demonstrations when y'all go on strike, and I love seeing that, and I always share that. Individuals from some of the unions used to send me videos when they've been striking in front of Amazon facilities. I love to see that because we don't have that over here. So it's motivating, and continue to do so. Hopefully we'll be able to return that favor one day and send you a video of us going on strike. So just show our solidarity all the way through and through. And I'll see you on my show. I'll bring you on my show next week, and we can continue the conversation.
Okay, no worries. I think we covered everything we want, and we've been on for half an hour. So Hardy, is it okay if I end this video live feed? Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine, Chris.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You have our support. Whenever time you need us, we just a phone call away, and you could send us whatever information you want us to post for the world to see it. We'll be happy to help you.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, guys, everyone, thank you for watching. Yes, thank you for watching today. If you're gonna watch this afterwards, you're welcome to post a comment or whatever. But remember that no one's gonna be reading these comments afterwards. I mean, we do try our best, but we're just getting too many messages. If you got a casework inquiry, please email us to casework@adcu.org.uk, and you should have got an email with contact detail of your regional rep. Please reach out to them first, and we're there to help you. But there's a process. Like if you're sending us posting on like a comment on a post for casework, sometimes someone might look at it. Sometimes someone might not. So the correct way to raise a casework is to email us in. And also, if you know any drivers that ain't members, encourage them to join. If you know any Deliveroo riders, encourage them to join, because that is the next sector that we're going for big time. We already got a good sign up, and a lot of people are joining, but it's like the more we have, the more stronger we get. So we want to become the largest and the biggest and the strongest union out there for the private hire and the courier industry. And to do that, we need to get our numbers up quick. So we need to get to 10,000 fast, and we could do this. We could do this. We got the numbers. We're the leaders in this industry. No matter what anyone says, we lead the way and others follow. Like we've done all the landmark cases. We're the real people. We got inputs in all the right places. So we're there and everywhere, and we just need you guys to do your bit, which is to bring in people, and we'll do what we can to support you and help you. All right, guys, please like this video, share it, and don't forget to join us. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.